I'm assuming most of you guys are from places like the UK and America, because here in Australia it is 10 past 1. Australia, Adrian, you're up late. Yes, Queensland, me too. Yeah, it's very late, isn't it? But because of where most people are on my lists and things, I've had to, accommodate for the majority. So we're doing it a bit early, late for me. Sorry, early in the morning. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, let's get started. So you can all see my screen. Affirmative, excellent. And this, I guess, to the right-hand side, this is kind of annoying, is it? I might move that to my other screen. Okay, now you've got my full screen view, do you? You can see from the top to the bottom, left to right, the whole screen. Okay, great. So let's get started with this. If any of you have already seen my sort of, I call it my gift pack of videos when you sign up. I'm sure some of you have watched them, some of you haven't, but in that I talk a little bit about getting more clients for wedding photographers, but it's also applicable to, basically any kind of photographer, because you can sort of modify it a little bit to work with most types of photography, but for wedding photography it's really useful. So I'll just go back to my this is my the page you've seen, just my photography business page where I've got I post my tips and that sort of thing. Your Facebook should look somewhat the same, your personal Facebook page. Up in the top right corner here you'll have the area where you can get into your Facebook advertising. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar already with Facebook ads, but you just click Manage Ads and that takes you into this section. This is my campaigns. Excuse me. And you can see I've just set up a lot around the world tonight, but I've been mostly, for you would target your area, obviously, for wedding photography. So I'm going to just create an example ad for you guys so you can see exactly the process and understand the concept a little bit better. So I'm going to click Create an Ad. And that brings me into here. I would just click my photography page for now, but you could either put in your domain name so that people would go to your website, your photography site, so they could have a look at your portfolio, or sign up for whatever offer you're providing. But what you're going to want to do is we'll talk a little bit about cost per click bidding first, and cost per CPM, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. I'll bring this. I'll open Notepad so I can type a little bit of stuff on the screen for you. So CPM stands for cost per 1,000. M is the Roman numeral for 1,000, and it means that you will pay Facebook a certain amount of money for every 1,000 views of your ad, which means that basically what they'll do, I've tested both a lot, and I've sort of come to the conclusion for what I do, cost per click is better, but for what you do, cost per 1,000 may be better. It just depends. A cost per click is obviously you pay every time someone clicks your ad. So what Facebook pretty much does is kind of a little bit sneaky, I've found. With CPM bidding, you've got a certain amount of people in your area who are going to be interested in wedding photography, engagement shoots, and that kind of thing. So let's say, for example, there's 60,000 people in your area, or let's just say 100,000 to be, to make it a round figure. What Facebook's going to do is they're going to very quickly start showing your ad to this 100,000 people, or as soon as they're online. So say day one, 5,000 of those people are online. But what Facebook does when you're bidding CPM is, since you're paying them for every 1,000 views, they're going to just blast these people with your ad. So those 5,000 people, Facebook could show them your ad 10 times in one day. So you can see my ad multiple times. Yeah, exactly. So what Facebook's doing is, with that 5,000 people, they're showing them the ad, 10 times in a day. So instead of you paying, let's say it was, sorry, I can't multitask. I'm terrible at multitasking. So every time I read the comments, I sort of pause. I guess it's a guy thing. I'll keep going. But so let's say you've got that 5,000 people in the first day, and you're bidding CPM, and Facebook's charging you, let's say, 10 cents per 1,000. So you're not going to pay, 1,000 times 5, which is 50 cents, 10 cents times 5. What Facebook does is they're going to just smash people with your ad. So you might be getting 50,000 impressions in a day. So instead of it costing 50 cents to show your ad to those 5,000 people, it's costing you $5, which is, it doesn't seem like much, but when these numbers start going up, it can get more and more. And on day 2, there might be 10,000 people online, so they're gonna hit those people with your ad 10 times, and you can get up to these crazy numbers, like people seeing your ad 20 times, 30 times or more. And people really get sick of ads. I don't know if I should. Sorry, Zach. I should show you guys more instead of just talking. It's kind of hard. So anyway, I'll create an ad first. So to do that, you can, with the options here, I don't really recommend using promoted page posts because it gives you the option of selecting any of your posts that you've made. So these are mine on my photography page. So you can click a post. We're not even going to worry about this because I really wouldn't recommend it for wedding photography. You can aim to get more likes, which I wouldn't really recommend either, because with that, if you come down the bottom here, Facebook's basically going to set your prices, and they set really stupid prices, like $3 cost per 1,000, which is ridiculous. You could end up spending a lot of money. It could still be profitable, but I just wouldn't really recommend it with this strategy. So what I do is over here, cost per click bidding. It gives you the ability to create an ad. Both of these two options, getting more page likes and using cost per click bidding, gives you the option to create an ad. So with your ad creation, you're going to, obviously you're targeting, it's mostly going to be targeted towards women, because that's the main, out of the couple, it's 95% of the time it's probably the woman that's booking in the wedding photography. So you're going to want to create an ad for the women. I'm going to, before I even make the ad, I'm going to come down here and show you the audience, choosing the audience. Yes, exactly, targeting the audience, Zach. For me, I live in Australia. I'm just going to use where I live as an example. So you can target, I'm on the Gold Coast, so I'm going to just say, hang on, if I actually, we have to, oh sorry, city. I'm having brain fog here, 1 a.m. So I'll put in Australia, then click city. Now my city is the Gold Coast, so you see every time I change something, you're seeing the audience drop down. So now the audience for the Gold Coast is 230,000, which is, it's alright, it's not too big, it's not too small. You can include cities within a certain distance. As a wedding photographer, it's okay to travel. You know, if you're getting big jobs, it's fine if you traveling, an hour to get to a job if it's going to be worth $6,000 or $7,000. Age, obviously, you're going to probably start it at around 21, 22. I'll just say 21 and maximum. Obviously, people get married at all ages, but the majority of people, it's going to be in their 20s, early 30s, and up to sort of like the mid 40s. People are often getting having second marriages and that sort of thing. So for this example, I'm going to put in 21 to 45, and that's dropped my audience down to 160,000. So the more precise you can get it, the better it's going to be, the less money you're going to spend, and the more targeted your audience is going to be. So now this is where the real magic happens, and this is what a lot of photographers don't know about, is this section down here, which is precise interests and broad categories. I'm not really going to, yeah, we can also target just women or men and women. I'll put women on here, and this will halve. Yeah, so now you're down to 86,000. Requiring exact match, it doesn't really matter because a lot of people, this is basically so, when you sign up to Facebook, it says, what year were you born in, what day and month. If the person hasn't put the day and month, it may not show it to them. So if they're, if they're turning 21 or something like that, it may not show it to them. So it's really not going to make much difference. I'll tick it and show you. It won't drop much. Okay, so it's gone down to 76,000. I'll leave it off. Now we're going to go into broad categories. This is where the magic happens. A lot of people will put in the interests up here. So things like, people will type in wedding photography, thinking that that's going to help find people interested in wedding photography, which it really doesn't, because you're going to get some people, a lot of brides, they do start liking pages about wedding photography and liking wedding photography and that sort of thing, but most won't, because it's just, it takes a bit of effort to go in and like a page, and a lot of brides won't do that. What you're going to want to do here is select family status, and then you can see in here you've got engaged 1 year and engaged 6 months. Now this is really powerful because you can see here it's dropped the audience right down to 2,000 in my area, and that means these people that are going to see the ad are engaged, and obviously if they're engaged, they're going to be looking for a wedding photographer if they don't already have one. They're going to be obviously getting married. Usually when someone gets engaged, they're their wedding is, within sort of 12 months to 18 months. That's about the average that it takes most women to sort of plan a wedding and get everything organized and that sort of thing. So these people, targeting these people for wedding photographers is extremely powerful. I know a woman who's made a crazy amount of money just doing this, targeting her city, her area, for people who are engaged. You can see how this would be effective for other types of photography. So if you were doing baby photography or family photography, for example, portraits and that sort of thing, all of these would be good. Most young families who have a young child want to get photography and sort of document the child's growth and that sort of thing. Especially new parents, they really want to get photos done, like proper nice portraits and stuff done while the baby is still young, within the first year or two. I hope you guys can't hear my cat in the background meowing. Sorry if you can. She is hungry. Anyway, continuing on. So now you've got your audience super, super, super targeted. Yeah. And the next thing you're going to want to do, I would recommend putting people who aren't fans of your page, because there's no point promoting to people who already are fans of your page. They already know who you are. So just forget that. Then you can come down to advanced targeting. It doesn't really matter here. I guess if you're doing regular weddings, obviously you're probably not going to be doing a lot of gay or lesbian weddings. So if you've got gender up here, woman, and you came down here and ticked men, that's a regular heterosexual couple. But a lot of people don't have what they're interested in, so I wouldn't even worry about that. Relationship status, you can untick everything. I would leave in a relationship and engaged, because a lot of people won't have changed their status to engaged. It takes them a while to do that sort of thing. And languages, you don't have to worry about that really. In Australia, everyone basically speaks English. I'm not sure what country you guys are all in, but you can put English down here. Just click English all. It'll make a little bit of a difference, but I find that it sometimes excludes people who are English and just haven't added that to their profile. And the difference here is only 100. It's negligible. Education is fine, everything. Workplaces, obviously not important. Now we'll go back up here to our ad, and you're not going to have it if you're doing if you're sending people to your page, your personal fan page that's about your business, your business of photography, and the place you show your portfolio and that sort of thing, and interact with your customers and clients. If you're sending them there, you're not going to be able to change your headline. If you're sending them to a place outside of Facebook, so I'll just switch over to my blog here. Say if I was sending them here, I could change the headline. But I don't recommend that, because Facebook really doesn't like it a lot. I've tried to send people to this page, and Facebook says, no, you can't send them here. It's a scam. Or it's a get-rich-quick scheme, which is, I'm sure it's ridiculous. What I teach is by no means a get-rich-quick scheme. It's slow and steady marketing to build a successful photography business. There's nothing quick about it. Anyway, so I would probably forget that. You can test it if you would like, but I would probably just send them straight to your Facebook page. Now, with the text of your ad, you're going to, I teach direct response marketing, so you're going to want to, you wouldn't just write something like, Yeah, exactly. Your text should be eye-catching, and it should target your audience. So since you've already got them so targeted down here, you know these people are getting engaged. You know these sort of things about them. In my case, they live on the Gold Coast. That between these ages, they're female. You can sort of target it that way. Facebook actually doesn't allow you to write anything about the location. So since I'm targeting Gold Coast, I couldn't write, hey, Gold Coast residents or something like, or getting married on the Gold Coast, question mark. For some reason, it's against their policy and you can't do it. It doesn't really matter anyway, because there's still a lot of cool stuff you can do. So like you can I'm quite sure you can mention that, you know, they're engaged, but don't quote me on that because I obviously haven't run an ad myself. Yeah, so Zach's just sent in an example, and his ad is now. I'll copy and paste it. Oh, I can't copy and paste. Okay. So this is what he's written. Now you're engaged. Why not keep the memories forever? And obviously, and that would be that would be a pretty good ad. Anything that really gets their attention. So your goal is to get them obviously to your page. It's not to instantly make a sale or get someone to call you straight from your Facebook ad. You'll often see people's ads like get wedding photography, something like, let's say, high quality, starting at, and then they'll have a price which is called a negative qualifier, because say you were putting in the price of $4,000, it would disqualify some people who might have clicked your ad because they can't afford it, so they're not going to click. However, it's going to lower your click-through rate. Or they'll put something, you know, they might put high quality photos, call, and then they'll have their phone number, which, you know, that you shouldn't do that either. Your goal with your ad should be to get people to your Facebook page. From there, I'll talk about what you can do on your Facebook page a little bit later. So sit down and think about what you're going to put in your ad for a while, but it should be something that gets them in, maybe an offer. Like in my ad, I'll see if I can show you my ad. It basically offers daily marketing tips for photographers, which is what would have got a lot of you into to like my page, because you're interested in building your photography business and you know that marketing is a great way to do that. So yeah, sit down and think about your ad for quite a while, because this is pretty important. It's not the most important thing. I'm just going to think of a better example here to give you guys. So maybe something like, congratulations, you're engaged. So that's going to get their attention, because they're going to read that and think, what the heck? How does this guy know I'm engaged? And you know, anything you write after this doesn't matter as much. It's the first line is the most important thing. But after that, I might write something like, let's see, maybe an offer. So something that you can offer them on your Facebook page, like maybe check out my portfolio and get my free that might not fit. I'm thinking of get my free, actually maybe something like this. get my photography consumer awareness report before it's not going to fit. I was going to say before deciding. So you'd want to just keep rewording this and until you can get something that fits. So get my photography consumer awareness reports. Before. I might drop a couple of these. I definitely can't fit before it's too late, but something like get my photography consumer awareness report free here. So that fits. It's not the best thing ever. I kind of wanted to portray the urgency or the yeah, now is good, David, like using the word now, having a call to action at the end. This is called a call to action. So the call to action here is get my photography consumer awareness report free here. I might capitalize free to make it stand out a little bit more. Yeah, so as Zachary's just saying this, you get 90 characters here. If I delete this, you can see it says 90 characters left. You can't, obviously, if I start typing more, you can see up here it says 8 characters over the limit. So you've got to make your ad short and sweet, but get the reader's attention. I like to add in, it's been proven that adding things like ... or numbers or percentage signs, dollar signs, @ symbols, it increases the click-through rate because those things get people's attention. You can't put in a ton of them because Facebook's going to just deny the ad because it looks silly. But something like this would be fine. Yeah, this ad would be quite fine. If you haven't looked into, if you haven't read my article about consumer awareness reports, I've actually just written an article yesterday on my blog, which you can go and have a quick read of. I'm not going to get into that sort of thing now because I'm already rambling on a little bit, and I don't want to take your evenings up, Australians. We're going to continue on here. So you've got an ad, you've got your audience targeted, very like super targeted, and now this is the most important thing, but the second most important thing is your photo. Now obviously I'm not going to want to put a photo like that. Let's say this is just some posted images that I've used on my sites and that sort of thing. The best kind of image to use is, you could show an example of your work, Zach, but I would, if you're going to do that, I would recommend to definitely have the focus of the image being the girl. It's been, tested and proven time and time again that having an image of a Caucasian woman, I don't want to sound racist, this isn't, what I say or anything, this is just what the results show, is that an image of a Caucasian woman aged 25 to 35 convert the best, and she should be looking at the screen or the viewer and smiling. So I don't really have anything here. Things like this don't work as well because it looks too fake, basically. If, let's say this was a female, obviously it's not, but this is the sort of thing you'd want. It's just a regular person smiling at a screen. If it was a woman, aged 25 to 35, it would be perfect. So there's nothing really in here. This was that image a lot of you would have seen me using. It's, you know, an attractive woman holding a DSLR, taking a photo, and for me it converted quite well. I'm using a different one now, but you'd want to, if you were going to use a picture of something from your portfolio of the wedding photography you've done, you'd want the focus of that image to be the woman looking at the screen. You wouldn't want them to be too far away because let's say I'll choose this picture as of myself and my girlfriend. You'll see that when it finishes uploading, it doesn't look very good. We're too far away. You can't really see our faces. It's not really going to draw anyone in that much. If you've got a photo of someone, their face up close, a woman, I'll just use this one as an example. You can see it is, you know, a lot more. You can see what's happening. It's just a lot better. It's easier to see it. It's sort of, the dimensions are better for this ad. You can see here, Facebook tells you you're allowed 100 by 72. So go and resize your pictures and make sure that they're taking up the maximum amount of space you're allowed, because you don't want to have, you know, a photo done in portrait instead of landscape, because it might take up half of this area. You want to be able to take up as much of the area as you can to, you know, get the best bang for your buck and get the most people drawn in to your ad. I'm actually going to go on Google to give you an idea of the sort of ad that would, or the sort of image that would be perfect. I'm just going to go on Google Images because I don't really have anything on hand at the moment, and I'm just going to type in wedding. I'll just type in wedding. I'm sure I'll type in wedding couple. Okay, so you've got quite a few pictures. There's going to be tons in here. I'll try and find one that would be quite good to use, just as an example. Something like this, if it was more, you know, if it was taken straight on. Oh, it looks like he's dipping her. Okay, I wouldn't really have that because the image size is probably going to be, from where my mouse is, you're probably going to look at it being like that size. So it's going to kind of look like they're laying down. Something else, something like this might be good, even though she's not looking at the screen. Something like this might be good if you just sort of crop that out so it's just their faces. What else would be good? I'm sure in your portfolio there's a ton of things a ton of photos you can use. I'm guessing you guys are getting it now. And as Adrian says, you can obviously resize your photos. So if this was your photo here and it's in portrait, and you wanted it to be landscape, you'd sort of cut the bottom off here and just use the faces. I just want to find a couple more examples to get this point driven home. So this would be quite a good photo, or this one would be excellent if you could, you know, obviously you would have, oh, that's good. Obviously you would have these in, you know, a huge sizes if you shot them raw. You know, you might have them in 20 megapixel, that sort of thing. So you'd scale it down, obviously, in Photoshop to the size that you want, 100 by 72 pixels. And you put the ad in here. And that's basically your whole ad. That's what this strategy is. That's really what you're doing. excuse me a second. Zach's just sent me an example, which, okay, here's an example ad. I guess this is your ad, Zach. So he's got, yes, it is. Is this one you're using now, or is it one you're thinking of using? And you do landscape photography? Okay. So this will be an alright photo. It's kind of, because it's been scaled down so much, it's a little bit hard to see exactly what's happening. I'm sure the full-size photo looks amazing. I'm just reading the text now. Pretty funny. That would kind of get people interested. But yeah, you're gonna, like, I'd recommend probably a different photo, something that is a bit easier to sort of understand what it is when it's scaled down so much. Things like maybe a waterfall, or I'm not sure, something. A photo that actually did really well with me in my testing was just a picture of some lady beetles in a line, 3 lady beetles set with a low aperture. It probably was like 1.2 or something. So the first lady beetle was very clear, and the ones behind it were very blurred and out of focus. But I think that captured the attention of photographers. Your market's going to be more like, I'm not sure who you are selling to. Like, if you're selling your photography as prints or that sort of thing, or if you're being employed to do landscape photography. But yeah, basically I'd choose a different image, put something like this is okay, but I'd put a call to action at the end, and yeah, you'd be good to go. I'll move on quickly because I said this would take about 40 minutes, and I think I've already done 40 minutes. I've basically covered most of what you need to know. So you're going to be looking at, I would select this one personally. Cost per click, it's going to, oh no, kept my ad, that's good. This here is, you can try it if you want. It's not going to get you many impressions or anything. It's basically, this section will show your ad like this, your page, to friends of the person who likes your page. So if someone came to your page and liked it, then this little ad would show up on their friend's page. So when you're doing engagement shoots, it's not, or like wedding shoots, it's not really relevant, because if a girl's getting married, there's probably not going to be a ton of people on her list who are also getting married in the same area. It's not really that targeted. So I would just probably remove that. You can test it if you want, but for wedding photography, I'd probably just remove that. So we've done the ad, we've done the targeting. This is the most important thing here, the targeting. Now I'm going to explain a little bit more about the pricing structure. So I'm going to make this, we'll just leave that as new campaign, and we're going to talk about what happens down here. You can set this to however much you want to use per day. So, you know, if you only want to use $5 a day, you can do that. A tip that hasn't been proven, but I think it helps, is to set this to like $50 until it gets approved. So, some people have the theory that the higher the campaign budget is, the quicker the Facebook employees will review it, and the quicker it will get approved. So, you know, it seems logical, but I'm not convinced 100% that it's true. But you can do it anyway. It's quite harmless. Just once it's been approved, just change it back to whatever you want. But down here's, you know, this is where I've got a few things to say which most people won't have, because a lot of people who teach this stuff don't even do it. I do it all. As you can see, here's my campaigns. I've got a pretty good list going. A lot of them you'll see my daily budget is only $2 because I'm just testing them at the moment because I'm getting very cheap clicks on some of them. I'll go into that in a second to show you more, but I'll just talk about it here for another second. So you've got these options that Facebook gives you. Optimize for impressions is CPM bidding, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. They'll give you this suggested bid down here, which is 9 cents to $5.29 per 1,000 impressions. If you were paying 9 cents, that would be okay. Obviously, you wouldn't want to go anywhere near $5.29. The more you pay, the more people are going to be able to see your ad. So if you're only paying 9 cents, Facebook's not going to show your ad to all 1,800 people because there could be a lot more bidders who are bidding more and sort of pushing your ad down, and therefore it wouldn't be shown. I'm going to take you onto my personal Facebook page. I hope there's nothing sort of rude or anything. But in the sidebar here,